Most people think a slow market means prices are going to drop. In San Diego right now, that is not what's happening.
Explain.
Inventory is down over 20%. Prices on houses are still climbing, but the way homes are selling has completely changed. And if you don't understand why, you're going to make the wrong move. So let's talk about what's actually going on, the real numbers, what they mean, and what you should be doing about it, whether you're buying or selling. Let's start with the data, and I'll make this pretty simple. In March, the median price for a detached home, your single family house, hit 1.1 million. That's up 2.4% from last year. Condos and townhomes came in at 670,000. That one's actually down 1.1% from a year ago. So prices aren't crashing. They're not spiking either. They're doing something closer to splitting, right? Houses holding strong, condos softening a bit. Now, here's a number that explains everything else. Inventory. Detached home listings are down 21.5% from last year. We only have about 2 months of supply right now. A normal balanced market has 4 to 6 months of supply. That gap is pretty big. But here's what makes this market unusual, and this is where most people get a little confused. Even with that low inventory, homes are sitting on the market longer. Detached homes are averaging 37 days before going under contract. That's about 9% up from last year. Fewer homes are available, but buyers are still taking longer to pull the trigger. So what the heck is going on? Mortgage rates. Right now, a 30-year fix is floating between 6.27 and 6.48%. And a lot of buyers are comparing that to the 3% rates from just a few years ago and starting to freeze up. Here's the truth though, rates in the 6% range are not historically unusual. What was unusual was the 3%. That was a once in a generation moment, and we are not getting back there anytime soon, and trust me, you don't want us to either. What analysts are calling this period is the Great Housing Reset. Both buyers and sellers are recalibrating, getting used to a world where rates are higher and likely staying that way, and the buyers who are moving right now have made peace with the math. They've talked to a lender, they've ran the numbers, and they've decided that waiting just isn't a good strategy. It's just delaying their life. The buyers still on the sidelines, well, they're the ones that are holding out hope for a rate drop that may never come. And while they wait, prices on detached homes keep creeping up. That's the tension that this market is living in right now. So let's get into what actually works, because strategy matters more in a market like this than it ever has before. If you're a buyer, here's what the data is telling you. The condo and townhome market is softer right now. Prices are down slightly. Inventory is a little bit higher than last year, and days on market have stretched out. That means there's room to negotiate. There's a lot less competition, and if you've been priced out of single-family homes or just want a little bit more flexibility, the attached market right now might be your opening. If you're specifically looking at houses, the picture is different. Supply is still very low, and the sale to list price ratio is sitting at about 98.9%. That means sellers are getting almost exactly what they ask for. Lowballing on price is not your move here, but there is room to negotiate on terms, inspection periods, closing timelines, repairs, etc. That's where smart buyers are finding their edge. And if you're relocating to San Diego from out of state, which a lot of people always are, here's something worth watching. A proposed vacant home tax with a scheduled vote in June of this year would affect roughly 40,000 properties. If that passes, it could push some of the hold-out inventory onto the market. It's not a reason to wait, but it is something worth knowing about what could be happening in our market soon. Now, for the sellers, let me be straight with you. This is still a good time to sell a detached home. The market is not working against you. You have very little competition. The buyers are out there. They're just being a lot more careful than they were 2 or 3 years ago. What that means practically is that how you present your home matters more now than it has in years. Buyers in this market are not making emotional impulse decisions. They're studying listings, they're comparing, they're doing the math on every single one, and the homes that are winning are the ones that are priced accurately from day one and show up looking like they mean business. The days of throwing a sign in the yard and watching the offers roll in, those are over. That was a completely different market. This market rewards preparation and strategy. Price too high and your home sits. And once a home sits in this market, buyers start wondering what's wrong with it. And that's a conversation that you do not want to be having 2 months into the listing. Price it right, prepare it right, market it right, and you will still sell well. The numbers are backing that up. Now let's zoom out for a second here because there's more happening in San Diego housing picture that's worth knowing about. The rental market here has actually been cooling. San Diego rents have been declining more than in most parts of the country, right? Largely because a lot of new apartment buildings have come online. There's more supply, softer rents, and now you might think that gives renters less reason to buy. And maybe for some it does, but it also tells you something bigger. People keep choosing San Diego. Demand for housing here, whether rentals or owning, is real and sustained. And on the supply side, long term, there are concerns about a construction slowdown. Builders are pulling back. That means new inventory isn't coming fast enough to close the gap, which means the upward pressure on detached home prices is most likely not going to go away. There's also the proposed vacant home tax I mentioned a little bit ago. A June vote could affect around 40,000 properties and shake some inventory loose, and that's worth following closely. The month-to-month data has a lot of noise in it, but the big picture story of San Diego real estate is still one of limited supply and real, durable demand. So here's the lesson for March 2026. This is a market that rewards the people who come in prepared. If you're buying, know your numbers before you start looking, know your rate, know your areas, and know which type of home you are targeting and what the supply situation looks like. Be ready to move when the right one shows up because the good ones still go pretty quickly. Now, if you're selling, prepare your home like the price tag on it is real because to a buyer writing a 7-figure check, it absolutely is. Price it accurately, market it like a business, and work with someone who understands how to read this market and negotiate inside of it. The buyers and sellers winning right now are not waiting for a perfect moment. They're working with the moment that they have. And this city, the weather, the coastline, the food, and the neighborhoods, the culture, all of it, none of it is going anywhere. If you want to talk through what this market means specifically for your situation, there's a link in the description where you can grab some time on my calendar that works for you. No pressure, just a real conversation. I love this frickin' city.